What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I've got some absolutely juicy news coming your way today. News that's going to make all you CHISA wanters out there absolutely lose your minds. Strap in, because according to the latest info from trusted sources like Hakushin and other specialized groups, our upcoming resonator, CHISA, has just been hit with a wave of massive, and I mean massive, buffs and major changes. This isn't just some small number tweak, people. We're talking about a complete overhaul that rockets her overall power, her utility in a team, and her synergy with other characters to a whole new level. The goal here is clear. The developers want her to feel smoother, more responsive, and for her entire kit to just flow in combat. They've taken a good-looking character and turned her into what appears to be a coordinated team play monster. And we're going to break down every single change, right here, right now. But before we jump into the rest of the events, a quick word from today's sponsor. Lootbar.gg is a site that gives you big discounts on your in-game purchases. Let's take Wuthering Waves as an example. You can actually see the price difference right away when you compare. The process is super simple. Pick the pack you want, click Top Up, choose your payment method, and that's it. Your rewards show up right on your account. And don't worry, your login info is completely cleared after the transaction, so it's safe. New users can get up to 21% off plus additional discount coupons from the link in the description. And yes, first-time top-up bonuses are available as well. So, let's dive straight into the biggest, most headline-grabbing change of them all. We're talking about her inherent skill 2. Now, before we get into what it does now, a little context. This is a core part of her base kit, something you get without needing any extra copies of the character. And boy, have they supercharged it. Here's the new deal. CHISA now gains something called Sight of Unraveling. When a teammate, specifically a teammate who has the threat of being role, takes out a target that CHISA has marked with her unseen snare. Follow me so far? Teammate kills a marked enemy, CHISA gets this empowered state. Now, while she's in this Sight of Unraveling state, here's where the magic happens. Anytime a teammate with the threat of Bane role deals damage to an enemy, CHISA will automatically slap her unseen snare mark on that target, and this mark lasts for a whopping 30 seconds. Now, for those of you who followed her kit before, this might sound incredibly familiar, and you'd be right. This specific effect, the reapplication of unseen snare, was originally locked behind her first resonance chain. You know that thing you need a duplicate character to unlock? Yeah, that. They have effectively taken that powerful synergy-driving effect, ripped it out of the Constellation system, and just gave it to her for free. As part of her base kit. Let that sink in for a second. It's like getting a free Constellation just for logging in after the patch. This is a huge deal for free-to-play players, or anyone who just planned to get a single copy of her. Her baseline power and team function have been dramatically elevated before she's even officially released. So, we just talked about how they moved her old Resonance Chain 1 effect into her base kit. So you're probably wondering, what did they put back in that Resonance Chain 1 slot? What did they replace it with? Well, my friends, they didn't just put in some minor stat boost. They gave her something that looks like a straight-up execution tool. Her new Resonance Chain. 1 effect now deals a fixed 6,183 points of havoc damage. But that's not even the wild part. This damage can reduce the target's HP by up to, get this, 61.8%. Let me say that again. 61.8%. And each target can only take this damage once. Think about the implications of that. This isn't just a little extra damage tick. This is a dedicated nuke for high-health priority targets. You're facing a big, beefy elite enemy or a boss. You whittle it down, and this effect can just slice a massive chunk of its health bar off in one go. It transforms one of her early constellations from a nice-to-have synergy tool into a highly impactful burst option that can single-handedly finish off stronger enemies. This is a massive shift in power for that first duplicate. But wait, there's more. They didn't stop at her inherent skill in her resonance chain. They also gave her intro skill, Unraveling Law 0, a significant upgrade. Here's how it works now. When CHISA enters the battlefield using her intro skill and a teammate defeats an enemy that's under the effect of unseen snare, she immediately gains a state called Unstring Vision. While she's in this Unstring Vision state, anytime her teammates deal damage, CHISA will reapply that unseen snare to the target for a full 30 seconds. Do you see the pattern they're building here? It's all about that markup time. Between her base inherent skill and this enhanced intro skill, CHISA is going to have an almost 100% uptime on her unseen snare debuff on enemies, as long as your team is actively fighting and triggering these conditions. This is a phenomenal improvement for her overall damage consistency and her synergy with allies. It means your team can constantly benefit from the interactions that rely on enemies being marked, making her a much more reliable and fluid member of any squad composition. It removes a lot of the potential downtime and makes her feel like a true master of debuffs, constantly setting up the enemy team for a fall. Now we've covered the big system-changing adjustments, but the developers were also kind enough to sprinkle in a whole bunch of quality of life and straight-up power additions that make her feel so much better to play. First up, and this is a big one for any close-range or damage-dealing character, her Resonance Liberation, that's her ultimate ability, now has invincibility frames. Say it with me, frames. This is a game changer for survivability. It means you can now use her big, flashy ultimate, not just for damage, but as a strategic, get-out-of-jail-free card to avoid a deadly enemy attack. This instantly boosts her survivability in high-stakes combat situations. Next, let's talk about her crowd control. Her normal attack, Severing Scissors, now has a pull effect. Imagine this. You're swarmed by smaller enemies, you start your attack combo, and your scissors are literally pulling these enemies together, grouping them up for you and your teammates to obliterate with area of effect damage. This adds a whole new layer of utility to her basic gameplay loop, making her not just a damage dealer, but a setup character as well. And they didn't stop there. The patch notes also mention multiple animation, positioning, and visual optimizations. Now, what does that mean in practice? It means her movements and attacks are likely smoother and more responsive. It could mean that her hitboxes are better aligned with her animations, so your attacks connect when they look like they should. It could also mean that her skill effects are clearer or just plain cooler to look at. These are the polished changes that take a character from being functional to being an absolute joy to play. They've essentially fine-tuned the entire feel of the character. So let's do a quick recap of this absolute glow-up. CHISA went into the developer's workshop and came out a superstar. Her core team synergy effect, reapplying Unseen Snare, was moved from her paid Lucky Duplicate constellation into her base kit, making her infinitely stronger for every player. Her new Resonance Chain 1 is a brutal execution tool that can chunk over 60% of a high-health enemy's HP. Her intro skill now synergizes perfectly with her kit, granting another way to keep her debuffs on enemies nearly 100% of the time. She gained invincibility frames on her ultimate, dramatically increasing her survivability. She gained a crowd control pull on her normal attacks, making her a great grouper for mobs. And she received a full suite of visual and animation tweaks to make her feel smoother and more polished. When you add it all up, these buffs elevate CHISA's performance across the board. She has stronger team coordination, better survivability, more consistent damage and debuff application, and a much higher fun factor. The developers have sent a very clear message. They want CHISA to be a top-tier contender. All right, everyone, that's the full breakdown. What do you think? Are you more excited for CHISA now? How are these changes affecting your pull plans? Sound off in the comments below. I love reading your thoughts. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves news and character breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.